Hello, my dear students. Good morning. Welcome to my channel. This morning, I would like to share to you the common methods of planting crops. At the end of this video, you will be able to apply the different methods of planting crops in teaching your students when you will become teachers. And of course, you can apply this in your daily life if you are venturing on gardening or crop production. Let us start now with the direct method of planting. Direct method of planting is a method of planting crops wherein the seeds are directly planted in the field or ground. And there are different types or methods of direct planting. We have broadcasting. This is a method of direct method of planting by broadcasting the seeds in the field previously and properly prepared. Just in the case of this one, this picture, the farmer is throwing or broadcasting the seeds in the field. That's one. Then we have the furrow method. Furrow method is a method of planting crops wherein the seeds are sown in furrows. Furrow is a small canal or uh, trench produced by a plow when dragged by oh, a carabao. So these are now the furrows. This one, these are small canal. Then the seeds are placed in the furrows, and after placing, it will be covered with soil thinly, good enough to cover the soil. Sometimes in large scale farming, the covering of soil is done by passing a plow beside the furrow so that it will be or the seeds will be covered. But in this case, the planter or the sower of the seeds cover the seeds in the furrow. This is commonly used in quite large scale farming, but for small gardening, we use another method. And this is commonly used when you are planting uh, corn, um, vegetables like sitaw, bus beans, or even bitter gourd or bottle gourd. You can use this one for as long as it is in large scale crop production. Another method is drill method of planting. The manner in which this is done is that the farmers or the farmer drill or make a hole through or by drilling, and the hole is somehow 2 centimeters. Then the seeds will be placed in the hole, and it will be covered through the use of the foot of the farmer, or by the edge of the hole used in drilling. This is very much commonly used in upland rice farming. When planting comes in upland rice farming, there are plenty of planters. For instance, you will be planting, or you have 1 hectare area of land to be planted with upland rice. Perhaps you need more or less 5 drillers and 5 planters. So the drillers, or the one assigned to drill, continue to do his work, while behind him is a fellow or a planter sowing or placing the seeds in the holes he drilled or she drilled. Then, of course, it will be covered by the hands upon placing the seeds by the planter in the holes. This is not. This is also commonly used in corn upland corn production. I experienced this when I was still in college. The the advantage of this is, of course, there's a small planting of upland rice. Okay, let's proceed to the last. Although there are other method of direct method of planting, which is cell method. This is commonly used in gardens, small gardens, or small area. So what the gardener is doing, he or she just make a hole in the area, then place it with manure, animal manure, chicken dung, vermicast, something like that. Then, of course, after, of course, before planting, mm, a week before planting, the gardener will place the animal manure or organic fertilizer. Then after a week, he or she will do the planting of seeds in the holes. And this is what we call as hill method. So these are the different method or direct method of planting seeds. Let's proceed now to the second, of course, the last method, which is the transplanting method. Transplanting is the transfer of seedlings from the seed box, from the nursery, or from the seedbed to the final growing area in the field. This means that the farmer will produce first the seeds through seedbed, seed box, or from containers, any kind of container. Then, when the seedlings reach the age of transplanting or age of, shall we say, for final growing, it will be transferred in the or to the field. There are two sub types of transplanting, or shall we say scheme or technique. We have the manual, this one, this one, and the mechanical method of transplanting. In the manual, this is commonly done by planting the seedlings to the soil. Just in the case of this one, these farmers, they are planting the seedlings of rice in the rice field. So that's transplanting. And the most common method of planting the planting rice under, shall we say, lowland irrigated or rain-fed rice culture is the manual method, or sometimes if it's commercial and large-scale farming, it will use the mechanical method of transplanting. Then, in case of vegetables, this is a picture on how the seedlings are transplanted. Just get the seedlings from the container where it germinated and transfer it to the poles in the area where the seedlings will finally grow. Of course, in transplanting vegetable seedlings, care should be uh, made in such a way that uh, the seedlings will not suffer from stress. And of course, if the seedlings will be stressed, perhaps the recovery of the seedlings from stress is quite long compared to those seedlings which are not stressed. So careful, the farmers should be careful about this. Then, of course, when transplanting, it is advisable that transplanting should be done in the or late in the afternoon, because if you will transfer this or the seedlings, or if the farmers will transfer the seedlings, for example the lettuce seedlings, there is a tendency that the plants will die because of the um, high temperature brought about by sun rays. And when transplanting, be sure that the weather condition is not rainy, because there is a tendency that the seedlings will be washed away when rains or when heavy rain comes. So you need to consider this. And of course, when the seedlings are already big, meaning overstayed in the nursery, then you transferred it to the field for final growing. I suppose there is a need for you to trim, or yeah, trim the leaves so that during its recovery stage, when transplanted, there will be a balanced distribution of nutrients, or there, yeah, um, to the plants, because naturally when the seedlings are newly transplanted, the absorption of nutrient elements from the soil is still slow, and the tendency of the leaves uh, will Okay, so it's also necessary that when transplanting, immediately there's a need to water the uh, newly transplanted seedlings so that it can um, or roots can perform its function to absorb nutrients. So these are some considerations in transplanting, particularly the manual. And in the mechanical method of transplanting here, this one, I think this is transplanting rice seedlings. And as what I've said a while ago, this is commonly used in large scale uh, rice production or crop production projects. All right, so that is it. Again, there are two methods of planting crops: the direct method of planting or direct seeding, and the transplant planting method. Okay, so thank you very much, and God bless you all.